So today we are going to be looking at the falling action in Thank You, Ma'am. So if you don't remember, if you didn't write down falling action, you need to go back to the lesson 2.1 and write it down. Okay, don't make up your own definition and don't Google it. Go back to the lesson and write down the definition, okay? So pause the video and write this down. Today's date is 10/19. And the falling action begins as soon as the main conflict starts to be resolved or fixed. Okay, resolved means fixed. Most of the questions you had during the exposition, rising action, and climax will be answered. For example, in the Incredibles movie, the big conflict was that the family was separated, that they were trying to get rid of superheroes and kill them off. But it didn't work with the Incredibles. And by the end of the movie, they were all reunited together. So the conflict was solved. They survived the attack to kill them. Pause the video and write this down in your notebook. The falling action can still have a minor conflict, but remember the main conflict will be solved. So again, in Incredibles, the main conflict was that the villains were trying, this is the villain, he was trying to kill the Incredible family off because he was just jealous of superheroes and Mr. Incredible never gave him a chance. So even though the family survived, during the falling action, there was still a little bit more drama, right? He had created this monster machine to try to destroy the world again, but Mr. Incredible destroyed the monster. Then after he destroyed the monster, he tried to take Jack Jack, but that didn't work because Mr. Incredible threw a car in the sky and got Jack Jack free, and then the mom caught Jack Jack and they went and landed safely on the ground. So the falling action can still have like action in it, but and it'll still have some conflicts, but the main conflict of the whole movie will already be solved by the time the falling action happens. So that's important to remember. Pause the video and write this down in your notebook. The falling action ends when you start to learn what the rest of the characters' lives will be like after the story is over. Okay, so the falling action is coming to the end when you start to learn what everybody's life will be like once the story is over. So Dash was able to finally start playing sports. The whole movie, his parents said no, 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 because he's super fast. And he's just a regular little kid and he wanted to play sports. So he finally got to play sports, but he's also super fast. So he kept like running really quickly. So we learned that his parents' lives will have to be kind of teaching Jack how to fit into the regular world, even though that they're superheroes. So how do you control your superhero power? And then we see that Violet finally gets asked out on a date by a boy that has a crush on her. And that's been her thing the whole movie. She's super shy. She thinks nobody likes her. But the boy actually likes her. He's just really shy too. So that's how the movie ends after this scene. And because of this last scene, we know what the rest of the characters' lives will look like after the story's over. So that's how you can tell when the falling action has ended, when you start to learn, oh, this is what the story is going to be like once I stop reading this book. Again, you're going to have a notebook check very soon. We've noticed from some of the do nows, some of you are still not writing down, or maybe you are writing it down, but when we ask you to write down the definition in the lesson, you're writing down a different definition than what we gave you. It's very, very, very important that you write down the definitions that we give you. Make sure you're pausing the video and you're literally writing the words that you see on the page. And then when we ask you for them in the do now, go back to your notebook and write those same words down. Okay? If you have questions, ask.